2019 Monday Night Raw. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan and Raj Giri to talk about everything that happened in Monday Night Raw. Tonight, the go-home before Crown Jewel this Thursday. Also, some other wrestling happenings in the news we're going to get down and cover tonight, beat by beat, story by story. Matt Morgan, what did you think of Raw tonight?
Seth, it was good. It was good. There's good parts of it. That RKO was nasty. That's the best RKO I think we've seen, and that's saying something. Seth Rollins is up to this point has been the best RKO I've seen, but this was wicked. Anyway, the show itself was a C+ for me.
Yeah, it had good matches. Like the action was good, but again, it was all kind of meaningless. No stakes, no titles on the line, nothing. No need for anyone to win any of those matches. They beat Humberto Carrillo again, which I think 2 weeks in a row is his first two appearances and loses both. I think that's a mistake.
Yep.
And then the ending segment, I'm big on storylines. I'm big on promos. That's what made me a fan. But
right.
I thought it was so bad until the beatdown. I thought the beatdown was fine, but we'll get to it. But I thought that was just corny as hell.
So let's go. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt.
Nothing. That's it. We don't care about what's his name, Erick. Come on, dude who wrestled Seth.
Oh, Rowan.
Oh,
we don't care about him.
Yeah.
So much so that when you said Erick, I was like, Bischoff? What are we talking about here? Eric Young? I thought Eric Young before Eric Rowan. That's where we're at right now.
Well, Eric Young was on this show too.
Yeah.
Good. He deserves to be.
Well, except he was running around in circles for that 24/7 title.
So let's go back to the beginning. What feels like it was years ago was really only shortly over 3 hours ago when Kairi, Sane, and Asuka came out with Paige introducing them tonight, the Kabuki Warriors, and talking about how they recently defeated Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, talking about how she introduced them together 6 months ago, goes over their highlights, and then Asuka and Kairi turn on Paige. Paige getting a face full of the green mist, not taking any bumps, but being beat up.
People listening, Glenn has a really cool animated background, and
he's getting lit. Getting lit up on the message board.
Right. I like when I'm trying to do the podcast, guys. I'm
Hashtag Glenn Dust was one.
Hashtag Glenn Dust.
So it was nice to see Paige tonight.
It was.
I like that. Yeah, I like that they had her on there, like to kind of close that storyline. She just disappeared, so at least they ended it on screen. Asuka and Kairi hadn't been treated like heels since they've turned, so this really set them up to be heels. So
she's one of the most sympathetic characters they have, man or woman. But easy for me to say. In Paige, everybody loves Paige, and we all feel for her story, right?
Yeah.
And her dream was taken away from her essentially with his injury. What I would have done, though, I was very surprised. I'm assuming Paige can't take a bump, is what I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Because for them not to have super kicked her teeth out of her mouth after that missed, I was surprised at. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Maybe she can't take a bump is what I'm guessing. Because I thought it looked awkward for a minute there. And I'm really picking nits here. I like that this made them look very heelish. It made them look like the bad guys. That's great. We need that. But I didn't think it felt like out of 5 gears, it was like in third gear. For what the ending should have been. It should have been her laid out and then drew out Becky. I love that it drew out Becky came out right then, and it shifted the attention to this baby face coming out in heroic fashion. That's always great. And then the match was freaking awesome. I thought this match was very good.
Yeah, Becky versus Kairi Sane.
Wasn't it?
It was awesome.
Picking up a win. Great opening to the show.
Very good opening.
I thought Kairi looked awesome. Yeah, Matt, I agree with you. That the finish by her just standing there with the green mist, because she can't take a bump, it was a little flat, I guess, at the very end. But I think that was the best they could do. I mean, I guess Paige, I don't know if she can
choke her out. Maybe I can't even say these
or
words.
if she just fell to the ground and then rolled out. But maybe because of her neck, they don't want her hitting the ground.
So sell your eyes, sell your eyes, sell your eyes, right? And scream for water, whatever it is you're doing, and you're crawling around, and then they just get on her, start choking her.
Yeah.
Something where it gets broken up. The physicality needs to be broken up by the baby faces music being cued.
Mm-hmm.
And Raj, to your point on Twitter, Paige can perhaps fire back with another tag team. I suggested a little Absolution reunion. Maybe have her come out with Mandy and Sonya on SmackDown Friday to start managing them and put them in a program against Kairi and Asuka.
Hang on. Do you think that Mandy has it in? Not whether she has it in or not, but do you think the fans are ready to take her as a face? Her partner all day long. She screams babyface to me. What about Mandy though?
Yeah, I think it could work in this instance because you've got Paige who has the sympathy. You have Sonya who has a lot of goodwill. She's perhaps the breakout star of Total Divas this season.
I agree. Everybody loves her.
And you could have her be the baby face that the fans don't really like and then turn her later, with Mandy. So she's in the storyline for now. Gotcha. And then eventually it leads to a Mandy, Sonya story. But
base reaction by association.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I like that idea, or bring in a new tag team from NXT if there's someone ready, just to kind of get someone going, right off the bat. Well, but I could easily see WWE just dropping it, like that was the last we've seen of Paige for a while.
Well, Wednesday night, Asuka and Kairi Sane are facing Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai for the women's tag team titles on NXT. So
that, my friends, is a must-see match.
Yeah. So maybe Paige goes up there. Probably makes sense. I mean, yeah, I think we could very well see that. So this with Becky and Kairi tonight was awesome, fantastic match. Becky got Kairi in the disarm her, made her tap out. Huge pop from the crowd when she won.
A plus for this whole opening.
R-Truth versus Buddy Murphy.
I like this. I like that we got to see Truth wrestle. Okay, instead of just doing stupid, silly stuff. Because it reminds us all again. I was watching this and I was like, I better mention on the show the fact that R-Truth Killings is like 55 years old. Okay, and he still looks like that. Still able to wrestle like that. Dude, he is so frigging blessed. It's insane. When I used to watch him wrestle at TNA, he would just show up, like whether he was late or whatever the situation was, but with no talking over the match, and go out there and just blow everybody's minds with his nonchalantness is somebody else's total best athleticism on their best day. He is so freaking athletic. It's insane.
I agree. And in fairness, he is 47, Matt. He's only 4 years older than you are.
He's only 40. That's still old. We're old.
for competing in the ring every week.
Dude, and hitting that spinning flying burrito that he still can throw. Yeah. Dude, he looks like a freak. He does like two spins with that damn thing.
Oh, he's it's pretty amazing. He looks great. My thing with this was then when you had the 24/7 guy just running around the ring in circles. So in the middle of the match, they just started running around chasing Sunil Singh, who's the 24/7 champion. It just looks so
terrible.
It was embarrassing. Like I was saying, like this is one of the reasons why I can't have friends over to watch the show anymore.
How many at this stage of the game, Raj? You've been in work covering this business now for over 20 years. How many of your friends want to come over and watch wrestling with you?
Right, but it's not even something I can say like, oh, you got to try it now. It's gotten good again. Like it's really cool again. You got to come over and watch.
Yeah, we've heard that before, Raj, multiple times.
I did that with AEW.
Yeah. I had people come over for that first AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah. Oh, really quick, can I say something? It's not a cheap plug, but this is the truth. I was giving a motivational speech to a special needs school here in Florida called Center Academy, and I do a Q&A after every single session. And one of the questions was, would you go back to AEW if you were willing to come back? I was like, you know AEW? He was 8 years old. Yeah. And I was like, you guys know AEW? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, hell yeah. And I was like, now I know they made it. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
I was so stoked by a little 8-year-old saying that. I don't know. I thought that's a good sign of the business, actually.
Huh?
No, I agree. So Truth got distracted by the 24/7 conga line running through this match. Buddy Murphy picked up a win.
The one thing with this is you could always kind of tell who's demoted with the 24/7. The guys running in the circle in the 24/7. So it's clear they've given up on Mojo Rawley. He's one of the guys now.
You think?
Temporarily, I would say.
This has been going on for like 2 years since he won the Andre.
Yeah.
All of them in general. When you say demoted, I'd say that's a temporary thing for some of them because we've seen these people do some ridiculous. R-Truth.
Yeah.
Who's made it out of the line though? Only Bobby Roode, right? Right? I mean, who else is?
It's like the Phantom Zone in Superman 2 where they get stuck in the mirror. Like you're in that 24/7 line and you're never escaping.
Yeah.
The hell of an analogy reach there, Glenn.
Jeez.
Saying.
You're talking about General Zod when he got...
Yeah, when they were trapped in the mirror. Yeah. It went perpetually on through space. They were always trapped in there. Yeah. Anyhow, after this segment tonight, we got another Authors of Pain promo. They're keeping this going.
Good.
Yeah. So they're not in the tournament on Thursday?
What?
They're not. I'm assuming
no, they're not.
In the tournament.
They're not.
It would be pretty cool if they came back into a program with whoever wins that best tag team in the world tournament.
Yeah, and just destroy them.
Yes. Well.
Yes, because it's a meaningless title. Yes.
Right. But it'll probably be Shane McMahon with the mystery partner coming in.
Hey, you never know. Street Profits came out to the ring celebrating with the fans.
This was pretty good, though, no? I thought this was pretty good.
So, but this didn't lead to a match?
It was just there, yeah. It was just them cutting a promo about smoke, and I don't see why. Yeah, I don't know.
They want it.
Oh.
What's wrong with that? Raj, they want it.
They want the smoke.
They want the smoke. And they had the crowd chanting for it, and they came across like stars, which not many people on the show did. So
that's over. Matt, could you imagine if you could just make an entrance, run through the crowd, everyone loves you, you go in the ring, and you just kind of like dance around and be like, yeah, I want it, and then just leave?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
So Street Profits are massively over.
Glenn's background is like a Christmas
special
background.
You know, I went with this one. I thought this was the most subtle of the band.
It is. It looks professional. Being serious, it does.
I like it.
I'll change it up from show to show. We won't burn through them all in one. So then we had Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre, a preview of what we're going to see with Team Flair versus Team Hogan on Thursday. Ricochet out there representing Team Hogan. Of course, Jimmy Hart was out there with Hulk. And then Drew McIntyre representing Team Flair. This match ending in a DQ when Randy Orton came in and hit an RKO out of nowhere.
Meaningless. This is the definition what Raj opened the show with about how there was no stakes for anything. WWE thinks like this angle is stakes. This is to them. This is stakes. This is not stakes. Nobody cares about Team Flair or Team Hogan. There is no camaraderie. That nobody cares about. The only camaraderie I'd argue is between Flair and Orton. That'd be it.
There's history.
The rest of them have nothing to do. None of them would ever hang out 1 minute with one another in real life. Nobody's buying that. And they're not a team, and there's nothing at stake here whatsoever.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's why do Hogan or Flair with all the championships that they've won care who wins this match?
Wait a minute. Time out. So you don't think if Ric Flair, let's just work with me here on this, had all the championship title belts all up lined up on his wall at home, right? In his wall of fame he has at his home. You don't think he's gonna have a team photo if his team wins at the end of it?
Little plaque. Team Flair's victory at Crown Jewel.
You know what would have been awesome though is if Team Hogan would have had, remember like the Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling cartoon, if they would have had them back in the day, like all hanging out doing the stupid random stuff that they did in that cartoon, like all the faces, or like going on picnics and hanging out together.
What about the heel car? The heel car was pretty good with me.
But then have Hulk talking about Hulk's rules and like, now remember, you got to say your prayers, eat your vitamins, believe in yourself, train hard. I mean, if they would have got hokey, it would have been better.
Yeah.
The best cartoon ever. That's something on a Saturday morning.
That is.
I love that. That was what first introduced me to a lot of those guys.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was a long match that had no stakes, and also when you do a long match and have it end in a DQ, I mean, they did it in the coolest way possible. But I don't know. Just seeing the same. They just wrestled. Was it last week or the week before? So they repeated 2 matches. This is what happened last time when they got rid of before they brought the wild card rule back. is they feel so limited with their roster that they just keep repeating matches over and over, and already we're starting to see that.
That's a good point. You know what? I took your cue from Twitter that you were just going to watch that bump over and over. And over. I was watching that GIF over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
How in the hell is he still walking?
He landed on his head.
It looked like this happened to his head. He spiked his face, it looked like. And I'm like, how do you walk away from that?
Yeah. Yeah, if you missed it, watch it or check out the Wrestling Inc. Twitter. We got a GIF of that up, man. It was the craziest RKO.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, a high point of the match really overshadowed everything that came before it. We saw
really quick. I thought Drew looked like a killer, though.
And also, really quick. Oh, so the match ended when they were wrestling, and then all of a sudden, Randy Orton. I think Ricochet was coming up from the top rope with something, and Randy Orton ran in and gave RKO just out of nowhere. It was crazy. So it was a DQ. I was glad that they didn't beat Drew this week because I thought they were going to have Drew lose, and I just feel like you can't beat Drew right now. He's just came back. He's looking like a monster.
Yes.
And having him beat was just a bad idea. So I'm glad they didn't do the 50-50 completely. I mean, he still lost by DQ, but he didn't get pinned.
Did you all see him? And I know, Morgan, you're a mark for all big guys because you're a big guy. Well, real quick, there's something to it sometimes. Did you see the difference in size between Drew and Randy? Randy's every bit of 6'4", 6'5" in real life.
Yeah.
Drew looked humongous out there. And I don't know when the hell they're going to wake up and go, oh, that guy could be our world champion. Okay. Yeah. Like, when the hell is that message going to hit them?
Right. Granted, Hulk Hogan has shrunk a little, but actually quite a bit. But Drew looked like a beast next to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Yeah. He just is. Dude, and he is good, and he can go with anybody. It's rare in big guys that can go like that.
Yeah, and you saw this match tonight. Drew and Ricochet have great chemistry, and Drew makes it believable when Ricochet's hitting his stuff on him. Yep. So if this was like for a title or something,
they'd get my money.
Yeah,
they'd get my money.
I think they could have a good feud outside of this Hogan and Flair storyline.
I hope.
Yeah, this Hogan and Flair stuff's ending, Thursday. So hopefully they move on.
So we had the Humberto Carrillo backstage with AJ Styles. Talked about how impressed they were with his match against Seth Rollins last week. Challenges Humberto to a match for later tonight.
So it looks like they got rid of his Power Rangers gear. Like he just came out in a t-shirt. He didn't have the big puffy, suit thing he had on last week.
He get to wear anything? Is he built like? I mean,
he looked fine tonight. I thought he's in shape.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought AJ and the OC they're great here. Like AJ is so comfortable as a heel with those guys that his promos are great. You really believe that. You believe what he's saying, and that's in today's era. It's in WWE. It's hard to find that.
I think I've said this before, but I'll repeat it again. When I wrestled with that guy, I thought there'd never be a day that he could ever be a believable babyface because he's such a good human being. And
AJ,
so squeaky clean, like. TNA, because he does all cool stuff that people want to watch and people want to see. All his moveset is awesome to watch. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get a heel reaction doing all that cool shit. And then promo-wise, there's not a heel or evil bone in that dude's body.
Yeah.
So I never thought I'd see. I always thought he'd make tons of money as a babyface and would just be like John Cena and always be a babyface. Mm-hmm. But wow, you're right. He's a better heel. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah.
He really is. With these guys.
Mm-hmm. Then we got the Viking Raiders versus Rizzo and Bryan, two local enhancement talents that were out there wearing Cubs jerseys in St. Louis.
You didn't appreciate that?
That was lazy. It's like just wear the other, just the team that the city is feuding with. You just wear their, you just call them that team. It just seemed like the laziest way to get heat that I've seen in a long time.
But why? Like the World Series is going on. I don't understand. What did I miss?
Who's even in the World Series this year?
Nats and the
Astros.
They beat my Yankees.
Interesting.
And so Game 7 could be on Wednesday. So it would be, if one of the teams, whichever, I don't watch baseball, but Game 6 is tomorrow, and if they tie it up, it'll be Game 7 on Wednesday.
Is anybody watching it though? It's like it's the Astros versus the Nationals.
Yeah, I know on Friday they did like 12 million viewers, which which is good, but it's not much more than what Monday Night Football does. Usually.
These aren't big. These aren't the biggest markets.
Right. Yeah, it's not like the Yankees versus the Cubs or anything like that.
Right. But still, I don't want them going against AEW and NXT and screwing up their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take a moment. Speaking of which, thank the sponsor of this show, SeatGeek. Hey, baseball season winding down, but you know what? Football's going on. Basketball's spinning up. You got lots of options. You want to go see some sports games? Watch the sports ball live? SeatGeek is where it's at. Concerts, theater, comedy, wrestling, whatever you're into. And SeatGeek. Oh, SeatGeek. Let me tell you. Ticketing websites are so awful usually. It's like they want you to prove your loyalty, prove your passion, go through the trials, the ordeals to prove that you really want tickets to that event, to go there and even get a glimpse of the artist or the athlete you want to see. SeatGeek hands you the keys. They care about the customer experience. They don't want to make it annoying. They want to have the events that you want. They want to break down that status quo and start a revolution in ticketing. And the way you can do it is all through their app, SeatGeek. They have millions of live event tickets and a price match guarantee. They have proved there's a better way. You could search sports, live music, comedy, wrestling, theater, and more all in one place. They've got the tickets you're looking for, and they stand out from the crowd with customer satisfaction. Fancy that. Over 50,000 five-star reviews on the App Store. How is that for customer satisfaction? And why? Because they have built the fastest way to find tickets so you can stop searching for the perfect seat and start enjoying it. They pull together millions of tickets from all over the web. They rate each seat, each deal on a scale of 1 to 10, and they display them on an interactive seat map. No more wondering, hey, am I going to be near the ramp? Am I going to be on the other side of the ramp? Am I going to be able to get a clear view of this or see? How is it? Well, they tell you green dots mean good deals. Red dots are overpriced. They know. And every purchase is fully guaranteed, so you can shop for tickets with confidence. I've got the SeatGeek app on my phone. It is by far the fastest and easiest way to find tickets. I use here we go, Matt. Here we go. This is one for the ages of thing Matt Morgan would give me a hard time about. I use SeatGeek to buy tickets to go see Rita Moreno live, one night only, in Hollywood, California, when I'm down there in a few weeks. SeatGeek got me fantastic seats. Rita Moreno is a national treasure, and we are going to go see her live, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Who the hell's that?
I had no idea.
Who'd they ever beat?
West Side Story?
Know your audience. No, nothing.
Okay, anyhow, she's a living legend. I'm going to go see her live. Also, you've heard us talk about it before. Raj has gone to see the Broncos play. He's gone to see Lady Gaga. He's got range.
Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses, Dave Chappelle, Jon Stewart. Just range. Yeah, just tons and tons of stuff. So and SeatGeek, like for the Broncos game a couple of weeks ago, it was really helpful seeing which ones, when it tells you which one's a good deal, which tickets are not a great deal, which ones are the best deals, and picked the best deal, went, and the seats were great.
I even love it. Going to go get my emo on next weekend to go see Juliana Theory touring again. And I like that we were trying to pick which city to go see them in. I was looking on SeatGeek, and it was telling me about each venue. I was able to see, okay, the better tickets are available here. Let's travel a little bit and go see them here in Sacramento. I really love it. It's changed the way that I buy tickets for live events. I go out to a lot of stuff. I see a lot of different things live, whether it's wrestling, theater, concerts, comedy, and more. And SeatGeek has absolutely revolutionized the way that I do it. And we hear from you, our Wrestling Inc. fans, all the time who use SeatGeek and have a great time. We've got a special deal. SeatGeek is going to give you $10 off your first SeatGeek purchase. All you need to do is use our promo code, download the SeatGeek app, use the promo code INC for $10 off your first purchase. That's promo code INC for $10 off your first SeatGeek order. And we thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
Can I just say we got the best fans in the universe to listen to this podcast? They are the best. The reason I love doing this show, I think they are more entertaining to me than the rest.
I mean, how many of the comments and tweets do we get that people like watching our podcast more than the show, and they don't even watch the show anymore? But someone, check out our Twitter. Someone did a Glenn Dust picture. It's so great.
Lane, thank you. I go to all these shows with my wife. Thank you. She is into it. Anyhow, oh man, what else do we got going on here tonight from Raw? Oh, Sin Cara versus Andrade. Rematch from last week. Andrade getting another win. So it's kind of like a feud, but Sin Cara doesn't win.
Well, Sin Cara came out with the Masked Woman, so to even the odds because he lost due to interference from Zelina Vega. So the Masked Woman is Catalina Garcia.
They already told us who it is?
Well, they just called her Catalina, but she was just in the August WWE performance class of recruits. So she hasn't been there long, and she's already on the main roster. She just did a few matches for NXT, and she's already on.
Does she have experience working under a hood?
No. I think she's always worked without a mask. I'm actually not sure in NXT, but
just in general on the Indies or something.
Not.
That's a very quick turnaround or call up for someone I've never heard of on the indie scene yet.
Yeah, I thought so too, but I don't know if they're just going to use her as a second for Sin Cara for the most part for now, as she's getting more and more experience.
That's a great call up. That's a good call up.
Mm-hmm. You know? So yeah, she hasn't been wearing a mask before, so it's it's new.
That's cool. New character.
Yeah. But then they have Sin Cara lose, which again I don't like the 50-50.
Who knows? They might actually, because he's healthy now. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like do something with him.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just saw that photo on Twitter. Did you guys show this on the screen yet?
Can we bring it up on the full screen?
Hold on. We can. Let me figure this out.
Yeah.
There's a way to do this. There, I can pull it up on mine. 1 second, folks. So Catalina, what's her background?
So she is from Chile, and she is I believe she's the first woman from Chile that she has signed, that WWE has signed. So, yeah, pretty exciting.
Those listening,
there it is.
Now, that's why you need to watch the show.
Yeah, we've got some very, very talented fans out there.
That was quick.
That was very quick.
It was very quick. Everybody go on the Wrestling Inc. Twitter to check out that mock-up of me as Cold Blast. I gotta admit, I'm impressed.
That was really good.
Y'all do good work.
Go back to putting us 3x3. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. The comments cut us off.
Okay, so they could be setting something up. I'm assuming next week mixed tag, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd be cool with that. I want to see Vega get some. She's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see her get some ring time.
Yeah, and she, again, Catalina's green, at least as far as WWE goes. So they could keep it limited, mostly Sin Cara and Andrade. But yeah,
Natalya and Charlotte Flair teaming up for the first time ever, as they told us about a dozen times tonight, to take on the Iconics.
What happened to the Iconics?
I mean, in a way, right? This is a good high-profile spot. I mean, you got Charlotte.
But where have they been? Where have they been?
Australia? I don't know. I mean, they wrestled on the live tour there. But what have they been doing, Raj? What's the backstage scoop?
Peyton Royce, she got married. She took some time off, had her honeymoon with Sean Spears.
Maybe that's it.
But yeah, they haven't really been used on TV much.
They gave her time off?
Yeah.
So she didn't get any heat for... I got heat for that.
They've gotten much better with that as far as giving time off for weddings and things like that. So yeah,
it's funny how I say they've got much better. They've got much better. They don't actively punish you anymore for wanting to have family obligations. Yeah. It's a real improvement.
Yeah,
morale is up 10%.
When did Charlotte turn babyface? Did I miss that? I mean, she's kind of been a heel, and she's been a heel, and then I don't remember her ever really turning.
Yeah, right? I mean, I feel like they're waiting to decide what they're going to do.
I feel like Charlotte is least effective in this role as like the happy babyface. She's such a good heel that I think it's a waste to have her in a babyface, smiling and being happy to be tagging with Natalya.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you something though, real quick. Anytime they do anything backstage with Charlotte, she screams babyface. She's either in tears over something that's emotional to her. She's not scared to show that side of her, which is cool, I think, for athlete to athlete. You know what I mean? Wanting to get inside the head and heart of an athlete that's that caliber, I think is rare that she gives so much of herself that way. And it makes for really cool extras on the WWE Network, right? But every time I see it, I go, the does this hurt her heel persona? You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like to your point, in media interviews and stuff, she is just the most likable, nice person. But when she's on screen, she's just so much more interesting as a character. When she's a heel, she really knows how to turn it up, and she's better at it than most of the people on the roster. So, as a heel and as a babyface, she's just a smiling, happy to be there, and it's just not it's not money.
Why is that? Because they always say the Rock and Stone Cold were the most famous ones to really talk about it this way by saying be who you are, but turn the dial all the way F up as high as you can. If she is this fun-loving, happy-go-lucky babyface that's incredibly grateful for the opportunity that she has and loves what she does and loves all of her fellow co-workers and is happy and excited for them genuinely, she gives us that all the time in these interviews and backstage segment stuff and the real life stuff. Why would we tell her? Why for her is it okay for her to act is what I'm asking versus just being who she is dialed up?
Yeah, I mean, because she does it well.
The formula though, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes some people can do this. John Cena is one of them too, for the record.
Yeah.
John is an amazing heel. So much better as a heel than a face. I'm not just saying that because we've both seen nothing but babyface John Cena and I'm sick of it. I want to see the heel John Cena. I'm saying from experience, Ohio Valley Wrestling, it wasn't even close. He was such a great heel. And it's natural for him to do it too. So this whole time I'm like, God dang, how is this dude keeping this up for so many years going against his natural grain? His natural grain is to be dicky and smart alecky and incredibly clever and being a dick. He's really good at it.
No. I mean, that's what got him over. That's what got him from almost being released to becoming a superstar. Was that turning heel and getting hot? And
forgot about the Dr. Thugonomics for a second.
Yeah,
that is that self though. That I swear to you.
Yeah,
that dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think they don't know what they're doing yet. Well, one, it's not not that they don't know, but until after Crown Jewel, we don't have a headline women's feud.
Charlotte's too important not to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's too important to just go, well, I guess she's babyface for now. We don't have really think for her right now for the next 2 months. So, no, she's a major star for you guys. You don't just let her get on by as a babyface for a little bit. She's either a babyface for the foreseeable future or she is a heel. This is what hurts people. This is what hurts their characters. This almost hurt Becky, if you remember.
Yeah. I wonder if it was a phantom turn, it seemed like, for Charlotte, unless I missed something a couple weeks ago, but I don't remember her turning.
No, you're right. It's
and maybe they're just doing it so her and Becky aren't on opposite sides as far as heel and babyface, so they're not going back to that well right away. I don't know. I can't think of anything else.
We'll see. We had a Falls Count Anywhere match. Seth Rollins versus Erick Rowan. This hit the concession stand. Dipping dots were not involved, so score one AEW. I mean, this ended backstage. There was a forklift. Matt, what did you think of this, especially given that Seth and Bray are having a Falls Count Anywhere match on Thursday at Crown Jewel?
I'll be honest, I didn't really think about it, that part of it. Like, I didn't. All I kept thinking was the Cornette used to have this thing where it's the name test. And he would say, when he's trying to come up with gimmick names for wrestlers that were coming into Ohio Valley Wrestling. So Rocky Maivia versus Joe Smith. No, it doesn't work, kid. And he would do it that way. And he'd have you visualize what it would look like on a poster, what it would look like in the lights, right? And when I saw the ad to commercial break advertising Seth Rollins versus poor Erick Rowan, I'm like, this is just, it felt so deflating. It felt the opposite of a big money match. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I know a match can't be a big money match. I get that. But where Erick was and what they were doing with him, I just feel like he should mean something to us by now already.
Yeah. He's been pushed on and off over the years. He's coming off his most recent one where he ran over Roman Reigns with the car.
Yeah. It was a delivery on that. He had a great match versus Roman Reigns. That should have been a star-making moment for him, I thought, at that pay-per-view. But what they do. They don't get these younger guys, or any of their talents for that matter, to that damn finish line. That finish line is feeding them wins. After they take a loss to a Roman Reigns or whatever that happened at the pay-per-view that night, he should have become a star that night.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't well enough for it.
Rowan's quickly going back to where he was before.
And proof of that, Matt, what do you think tonight with commentary putting over, well, Rowan used to be part of the Wyatt family and be with Bray Wyatt. Like when they're putting over it makes me think that it's all clay, it's all malleable right now. They don't have a plan for him.
Who said that?
Was that Lawler that said that tonight? Commentary addressed that and brought that up. But no, I just feel like they don't have a clue. There's no plan, right? I mean, him and Daniel Bryan maybe are done.
Yeah, they're done.
Feuding. I mean, like we're not going to get a feud with them. I don't know. I feel like with Rowan, I mean, what's up with Harper? Harper came back and then Harper left again.
Isn't he on SmackDown?
Yeah, but I thought Rowan was on SmackDown too.
No, Rowan was just on Raw tonight.
Really?
Yeah. He wrestled Seth Rollins.
I know he was on Raw, but I'm saying like I that's the thing. It's like if you don't even know what brand a guy is on, I think that kind of says that they're not.
I couldn't tell you. If you gave me pen and paper, told me to list anybody, I could not tell you except for the champions.
Yeah. It's going to take a little bit to sink in after months and months of it not mattering and everyone appearing on the other show. Yeah. But Rowan and Daniel Bryan separated. Rowan's on Raw, Daniel Bryan's on SmackDown. And did you run through the end of this match?
No.
They went through the concourse, the concessions concourse, the merchandise table. They ended up backstage. Seth Rollins was trying to turn on a forklift, dropped a pallet onto Rowan, stood on top of the pallet, and the referee counted for the pin.
Yeah, so he had to get help from someone to operate the forklift. So they did this finish. Do you remember this, Matt, when they did this on Halftime Heat with The Rock and Mankind?
Oh my! It didn't dawn on me, but yeah.
They did the same thing where Mankind got a forklift, did it himself, and then dropped the forklift on The Rock to beat him and win the title. They did this really corny, camera angle from the forklift. But anyway, I think Rollins needing help and assistance to use the forklift looked kind of weak.
Yeah.
The match itself was pretty good. But again, no stakes. Just it was there. But I will say this: Seth earlier in the night had cut a promo backstage, and he was booed. But after this match, he was cheered again. It's like he can win the fans over when he's in the ring, but when he's cutting these promos or in storylines or wrestling in red tinted light,
stop with that. They just he's one of them, like AJ. When they get in the ring and they wrestle, people you have no choice. You want to cheer him. They're so damn good at what he's so good. Seth, he has no holes in his game in that ring in between the ropes once the bell rings.
Yeah,
he is so damn good.
Yeah. And that was from Halftime Heat that I was talking about, that Rock Mankind match, and it was an empty arena match. So,
somebody's saying,
someone was asking when it was.
Okay.
So, what's happening Thursday at Crown Jewel between Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins? How's this going to end? Wyatt's going to be a guest on Miz TV on SmackDown on Friday night. He's a SmackDown wrestler wrestling Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship in Saudi Arabia on Thursday in a match that cannot be stopped. Falls count anywhere. They made a big point. This match cannot be stopped for any reason. Is Rollins winning or is Bray Wyatt winning on Thursday, Matt?
I don't know how they're going to get out of it. I have no idea how they're going to do it. Mrs. Gary, please come make an appearance.
It's my daughter. I think she might be sleepwalking.
Oh, there we go. It's the season. It's Halloween.
Well, I don't know who wins this, honestly, guys. I don't know how that this is even a match still. Remember I told you this is not good. And I know this is good for Bray.
I feel like Bray's got to win this, but there's no way Bray can win this, right?
There's no way he can lose it.
Yeah,
I think they beat Bray, but I mean he could win it and take the Universal title of SmackDown, and then Kane Velasquez wins the WWE Championship, and then is drafted to Raw. So you just switch the world titles, which brand they're on. I don't see them doing that, but
Bray
that is
one
way.
Need this title.
It
throws everything off. But maybe obviously I'm wrong because look what they did in the segment where if you told me that Seth Rollins would have showed up at the Firefly Funhouse and burn it down and do all these other, beat him up and all this other crap, I'd say no way would they do that. That would bury so much of this character for the Fiend. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It would hurt that character like very badly, and it did. I think it did hurt it somewhat. Doesn't bury it, but it hurt it. Him winning the championship, there's nothing to do with it for him. He's not going to care about being the champion. He's not going to wear the title. He's not going to come out and have championship matches and care about defending that belt. No, so, you say that for someone who could do all that, obviously, as your champion. He's bigger than that champion. His character, I should say, is bigger than that championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it does change things up with him if he were to have that, have the title, see what they do with it. Because right now, I feel like Rollins' champ is so bland.
It is, but again, do you throw away? Not throw away, but do you damage that Bray Wyatt character? Because they're going to put him in backstage, all these promos, these stupid little segments that the champion has to do, and that company only knows how to do. Even with Kane, I mean, they'll screw this up.
So yeah, and Bray has cooled a little bit, but I will say they haven't had him wrestle on TV yet, which I'm very surprised about. And I think, man, if you have him win the title and then kind of subtly turn him babyface, because the fans are behind him anyway, right? Kind of like they did with the Undertaker back in the day when it always seemed like he could never be a babyface because he's this murderous zombie.
Right.
But then, fans are behind him. If you do that with Bray and then at WrestleMania have him against like Brock, keep the title until Mania and go against Brock or something like that.
Literally, not something. It would literally have to be Brock would be the opponent.
Yeah.
There's nobody else that you know what I mean. That would. I mean, yes, fans are cheering for him. I get it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
If nothing changes, Survivor Series is going to be Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar again.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I can't see them doing that.
It won't happen.
Yeah.
Something that we don't see is going to happen somehow.
And I can't see them doing Brock versus Bray at Survivor Series. Yeah, because they do the Raw versus SmackDown, or maybe, who knows, maybe they might drop it by then.
How do you know Brock isn't asking for it? How do we know behind the scenes Brock isn't asking to work Bray?
He was supposed to work Bray a few years ago at WrestleMania. That ended up getting changed to Dean Ambrose.
Very different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, for sure. A little trivia.
This is the hottest thing they have right now.
Yeah, and I agree. I think Rollins beating him, it cools him a lot.
Yeah. So Alistair Black cutting those promos.
Did he start the promo by saying he had been sleeping or something like that? Or like he was tired, something like he has been sleeping. Someone in the chat.
It's all about madness.
Okay. I was like, you don't want the guy on your show to talk about how he's been sleeping through the show. Be
a solid gimmick. Like I literally just rolled out of bed for this match.
I think a lot of people feel that watching, once you get halfway into Raw.
Yeah. The promo though, guys. What'd you think of his promo?
He's become the new Bray Wyatt in terms of he goes out there and just says this gibberish again and again. I mean, do you feel this, Matt? Authors of Pain, I think, have like a bit of it's gotten a little repetitive, but they've still got a little bit of menace and gravitas about them. But Alistair does not.
So I need to be truthful. I am rooting for him. I think he's a star.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's one of them that I very unfairly don't criticize as much as I would somebody who I don't think has the potential to be a star. Do you see what I'm saying? So I am still waiting and seeing. Do you know what I mean? Which probably isn't fair because anybody else, I'd be like, ugh, this is so boring. Dude, you said the same thing last time. Come on. But there's something about him that I still dig. So I'm giving him,
Yeah. I like it. I mean, yeah, these promos are getting redundant, but he delivers them well. It doesn't come across as corny when he talks.
Star in the making to me.
Yeah, he's got the look. He's got the delivery. I mean, he's got the tools, and yeah, he is in tremendous shape from when he first started in NXT. He's really, he looks like an athlete. He looks believable. I'm an Alistair Black fan. I think they could do a lot with him, and I think with Paul Heyman, I think he could turn him into a star. But yeah, these promos are getting a little redundant.
He needs a real feud, not Cesaro, not going out there.
Maybe Seth.
Maybe.
But you don't want Alistair Black being beat yet either. But
No, but that would be actually, that could be a star-making feud for him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I mean, I feel like Black versus the Fiend. I mean, it doesn't work cross-brand, but they need
Not yet. Build Alistair Black, and the Fiend versus Alistair Black built up for 6 months. Let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah. So Humberto Carrillo got another high-profile opportunity tonight against AJ Styles, losing to AJ, and during the handshake after getting into it, and getting into a fight with him after the bell. But Matt, what do you make of this? So, high-profile opportunity goes against Seth Rollins last week, goes against AJ Styles, the United States champion tonight.
Yeah.
Now, you've said before, hey, if you're losing to these guys, it's still a high-profile opportunity. And he looked amazing tonight. Some of those jumps he was doing, some of those flips.
Listen, I'll cut it off. He got over tonight, even though he lost again.
Okay.
He did get over tonight. You can't have two guys get over when the other guy loses, even 2 times in a row. I usually would never say that. I hate when they do that to these young guys. I hated it when they did it to Ricochet, and I hate it when they're doing it to him right now. But with that said, this again was another quote-unquote star-making opportunity that he took full advantage of and wrestled his ass off and had a very good match with one of the best in the business, and hung every step of the way with him. Takes 2 to tango, takes 2 to put together one of those types of matches, and he was right there. That kid can go. He's good.
He's really good. I thought he looked great tonight, but yeah, I felt like he should have won. And maybe they should have put him in against somebody that, if they don't want to beat AJ, put him in with somebody that he could beat.
So then here's the question: do you give him that? I think you go there now. I think now you got to give him some feeders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's been on TV twice. He's lost both times. Yes, he's put it a good fight and all that. But when people are used to seeing you losing right off the bat, it's an uphill battle. I think he should have beat AJ tonight, and I hate when the champions lose. But I felt like that would have really put some steam behind him, and then just made the people realize that he's someone important. He's someone you got to pay attention to.
I still got that, though. I still got that this is a rising star, folks. Don't take your eyes off him. He's going straight to the top. You don't want to miss his meteoric rise. Yeah, that kind of crap.
I hope so, but WWE hasn't been very successful. Just look at Ali. Remember, they kind of were doing the same thing with him.
Or what's the other guy? Cedric
Alexander.
Cedric Alexander.
I mean, we see it time and time again.
Yeah, we do. We do. Glenn.
Yes.
Glenn, you want to take us to the finish?
Finished the match, as we mentioned. He tapped out to the calf crusher. And then after, AJ went back in the ring to shake his hand, but they end up... Humberto dropped him with a right hand, so he made the first move by disrespect. How'd that work? So AJ went in to shake hands. I don't think he was going to shake his hand, but I'm remembering this correctly. Humberto dropped AJ, right?
Yes.
Yeah, then AJ went back and hit him, then hit him with a Styles Clash. The OC came in, and then Street Profits came in to even the odds.
Yeah, so they're building to probably a 6-man tag next week.
How did this make sense, though? How do you book your babyface that way?
Yeah, that's where I was like, am I remembering this wrong? That does seem a little odd.
You know what I mean, Raj? Why in the hell would you have your babyface?
Yeah, absolutely. And first he submits, again, right off the bat, he's submitting.
That's not good, right?
But I think what happened was AJ went to shake his hand, but instead turned it into the too sweet, right?
Mm-hmm. I thought you did the psych, like we were.
Yeah, and he did, and then he did the too sweet sign, and that's when Humberto dropped him. But then he got the crap kicked out of him. Street Profits came in and saved him. So
here's a better question, Matt. When's the last time you faked somebody out and yelled "psych"?
Probably like on a house show somewhere.
Yeah,
out to the audience, and pretending to give kids high fives and then do it.
You followed up with like a face moded, "You're corroded."
In your face. I said face.
But AJ, it kind of fits his character because he's, kind of he's good at that obnoxious heel stuff right now.
Yeah.
It's total opposite of who this guy is. It's so crazy to me.
And then the final segment, Divorce Court. The King, Jerry Lawler, bringing out Rusev, bringing out Lana, Bobby Lashley coming out. So Raj, of all the nights to not have a Blue Chew ad on this podcast,
Oh, man, no.
Lana said all Rusev wanted was the sex. He wanted to make a baby with me. Would not give up on this. She has a figure to protect. She does modeling. She did not want to have a child. Yet she's...
So she wastes like 5 minutes on this, saying,
Yeah.
sex all the time, doesn't want to have his baby. He's like, well, I didn't necessarily want to have a baby, but... And then she just goes, oh, wait, that wasn't it. The real reason is because Bobby Lashley said you were cheating on me. So what was the point of that 5 minutes that was just wasted?
I got nothing.
It was so stupid.
I started playing on Twitter at this time.
He's just rewatching that GIF, the RKO GIF. Oh man, it is just so dumb. It was cringeworthy. Once she said that Lashley said he was cheating on her, at least then it started to make a little more sense. But I mean, if he had her convinced, that's a logical thing that she was convinced that Rusev was cheating on her.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that doesn't make her a heel.
Right.
Weird reveal, though.
Hey, actually, yeah.
Like, don't girls do that? Don't guys do that? Like, that happens in real life. Somebody does you the scoop on something that's happening and you believe it. That happens. Like,
Yeah.
I think that person's evil for thinking that or worried about it.
Yeah, and people trying to break up couples. Again, like with the Roman Reigns storyline, if you do it and do it well, it could work and it could be intriguing.
Yeah.
But the acting and everything is so corny that you can't get into it.
I agree.
I don't know, man. Seems like a weird third act M. Night Shyamalan twist.
It was a fart in church. It was terrible.
Yeah, the fans were booing it.
Good.
They did get him back a little bit at the end with the beatdown. So at the end, Rusev attacked Lashley. Lashley came out after Lana said that, but Lashley said that Rusev had been cheating on her. Lashley came out. Yeah, so Lashley came out, started fighting with Rusev. Rusev had the upper hand for a while, and then Lana distracted Rusev. Lashley hit a low blow, then kicked him in the nuts again. And then with Rusev on the ground holding his nuts in pain, they start making out over the top of him. So.
You like that, Glenn?
Just because it was they were making out in a way that no one has ever seriously made out ever. It was like this very obnoxious version of making out.
All right, Glenn, you always ask me these what ifs. I'm asking you what if. You're the WWE wrestler. You're told you have to do that in your storyline. Could you do this? And this is your shoot wife that is involved in the storyline. Could you do this?
I would be probably the first person to be like, well, it's a whole lot of money, babe. I'm just saying. I mean, who am I to get high and mighty on what entertains the people?
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I've been with my wife 20 years, like freshman year in college, so 20 years. I still to this day don't think I could pull that off. There's no way.
Yeah, it's one thing if she was in another movie and it's something with she has a kissing scene with some other dude. That's that's acting, but doing it while you're cringing, holding your balls, and making out with another guy on top of you, that's a whole different thing.
Dude, there's memes gonna be galore. There's gonna be photos my boys will totally take of this and plaster it everywhere. I don't know. I don't know if I could.
Someone in the crown chatted, "This is weird."
In my head, I would just be thinking like, this is like 5 years I could sit around doing nothing. I could buy a boat if I wanted to. I don't even like sailing, and I could buy a boat. I would be thinking everything I could do with that cash while I was there clutching my balls, cowering in pain.
So awkward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So one thing, Rusev took off his wedding ring, shoved it in Lashley's mouth, and while he was doing that, Lana started hitting him with the kendo stick, and he was no-selling it. Yeah. Anyway.
This was what it was. I mean, I don't know. This
in real life, there's nothing there, though, right? They're still married.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Dude, hey, WWE back in the day used to really shine light on people's legit like blow-ups in their relationship and try to like split people up and stuff. I remember Morrison and Molina. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, Del Rio and Yeah, I mean, the history of couples that do these kind of angles and then ending up going with those people in real life, it's pretty high.
I watched them go above and beyond Morrison and Molina, I remember.
Yeah.
What's that Macho Man quote about getting your wife into wrestling?
You never bring your wife backstage. You never introduce your wife to the boys backstage is what I was always taught.
Yeah.
But I completely killed that role when I went to TNA.
Yeah.
TNA was much different animal.
Yeah.
Like, Dixie wanted your family there and stuff. It was cool. It was much different. You didn't have to worry about that crowd.
Yeah.
So
there you have it.
And so when people get on me, they're like, well, you say you want more storylines. Well, when I'm saying that, I'm talking about like more realistic. And this isn't an AEW versus WWE thing, but like the stuff they did with Cody and Dustin earlier this year, you know, where you believed it and you wanted to see that match. And when you get to the match, that story really got you there. That's, you know, kind of what I'm talking about. Not
back in the day, fans, I hate to break it to you. A lot of these storyline-driven storylines would get to the match, and the match would actually live up to that storyline and sometimes surpass it. I would argue, and I'm not just saying this, I mean this, that match versus Cody versus his brother topped that storyline, that match that they carried out that night.
Mm-hmm.
That is so damn rare. I've not seen that in God knows how long. Mm-hmm. Think about it, fans. Think about a really good storyline that you stick your teeth into, that you really, really dug. Tell me that the match that was supposed to end it topped the actual storyline itself, and you felt satisfied with that finish.
Yeah, so that's the Macho Man quote. I did an angle with my wife one time. I ain't got no wife no more.
I never heard that.
I mean,
damn, that's right. I forgot all about. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that was Raw tonight. Crown Jewels coming up on Thursday. Got NXT.
We should mention real quick. And Matt, obviously, he's the mayor. He's got important stuff during the day, so he won't be able to make the Crown Jewel podcast. But we will be having a podcast right after Crown Jewel this Thursday. That'll be like 4:00, I think. So, join us for that.
Yes. Let's talk about the SmackDown ratings quickly, and then let's talk about what's going on with this NXT controversy last. But SmackDown, lower rating than AEW last week.
Yeah, AEW beat it. So SmackDown was on FS1 last week, preempted for the World Series, and it did 888,000 viewers. So by far the lowest rated SmackDown ever. And it drew a 0.27 rating in the 1849 demo. So last year's AEW Dynamite doubled that. AEW Dynamite last week did 963,000 viewers. So again, SmackDown was on FS1. FS1 is, people are saying it's not in as many homes. It's almost in as many homes. It's like 84 million homes for FS1 compared to 90 million for TNT. So it's not that big. It's not like Pursuit or anything like that.
Say it again. What's the comparison?
84 versus 90 million. So it's pretty close.
It's close enough. And here's the thing. Wrestling was on that night. And you said this, I think, in one of your tweets, and it's correct. I went and you search it out. You figure out what the hell channel that this FS1 is on, and you find it. If they're drawing the viewers that want to come watch SmackDown, they tune it in. Oh, crap, where is it? You go around until you find it. Everybody knows that. Most wrestling fans do that.
Yeah.
They didn't give them anything to go click through the channels and draw and find their way to FS1.
Yeah, it's like the product is so stale right now that they saw that it's on FS1. They're like, I don't want to find FS1. I'll just skip it this week.
Well, the World Series was on.
But that's two things. I would argue people didn't want to put the energy in to click through and go find FS1. And two, WWE didn't give them a reason to go find FS1. And three, if they could find FS1, well, why would I want to watch this? It's on FS1. They're not going to do anything big tonight. I'm not going to miss anything. I'm not going to watch it.
True.
Yeah, it was against the World Series, but so was Dynamite and NXT last week.
Okay, so let's talk.
If you don't think I'm not just stirring the pot here really quick. If you don't think that this pisses them off that AEW beat the SmackDown show, regardless if it's on FS1 or not, you're crazy.
Yeah,
you're
this quickly in.
It's tea. So trust me, they're pissed.
Yeah, I'm sure next week we're going to get back to more normal numbers. I still think next week's going to be the lowest SmackDown on Fox to date. But yeah, it's still, it just shows that the fans weren't willing to find the show. And it's a bad number. It's a really bad number, but it'll get back to normal.
90, that says it all right there to me. That's not enough to use that as the excuse that TNT is more. No, it's not that big of a difference.
Yeah, so apparently WWE was reportedly expecting the numbers to be similar to what they were doing on USA before they moved to Fox that night, and it wasn't even close.
I could see them thinking that, though.
Yeah.
I'd like to drop like that.
Yeah, so on USA before they moved, it was doing 2 to 2.2 million, and this was 888,000. Brutal.
I thought maybe 1.8.
Yeah, I thought 1.6 to 1.8. They had Brock on, they had Kane, Hogan, Flair. So now you see why WWE really wanted NXT on USA and not FS1.
Oh my God, yes.
So you would think this would be the worst WWE story today.
You would think.
You would think. But Jordan Myles, NXT talent, wrestled on the Indies as ACH. Been in NXT for a while. He had some merchandise that was released, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, when a lot of NXT talent had T-shirts offered. And he spoke out about it yesterday and about his issues with this merchandise that was portrayed. That's already been pulled. But here, I'll just show his tweet here.
Yeah, and you want to show the shirt too?
Yeah, it's on that.
Okay.
So, said, I will keep posting this till my voice is heard. I'm not sorry for anything I say or do. Representation is important. If this is Vince McMahon and Triple H's vision of me, then this is a slap in the face to every African-American performer, fan, and supporter. And what he's showing here, I guess he has had a smiling gimmick in NXT. And here we've got a red, looks like a mouth, with Jordan Myles written in white, looking like the smile in it, against a black T-shirt. So, why is this controversial? For our younger viewers that perhaps are not as familiar with the history of the portrayal of African Americans in American pop culture, this is very similar to the minstrel show blackface look that was perpetuated as such an ugly stereotype of how black people were portrayed in American media for, the 30s, 40s, maybe even into the 50s.
Yeah.
And this caused a shitstorm yesterday. Further stoked today by the WWE releasing a statement late last night. And Matt, you have a very interesting perspective on this that I want to get to. But the WWE saying, well, Jordan Myles signed off on this. He signed off on this shirt. And essentially saying, but then once it was brought to our attention, we took it down. We didn't allow it anymore. So what I want to get to your viewpoints on this, Matt, but I quoted you that if you, 7 foot tall, a beast, all the reason to have confidence in the world in your wrestling skills and abilities in WWE, if you felt like there was implied pressure for you to accept Vince McMahon's poor stuttering gimmick, if you wanted your ticket out of developmental and back into the main roster, how do you think someone from a traditionally, someone that might feel marginalized, or from a traditionally marginalized group within the WWE, wouldn't they feel pressure to go along and quote unquote not be a troublemaker when something was presented to them originally?
Hey, Matt, can you hold on just 1 second? I just want to run through this whole story real quick to fill in everyone before we fully get into it. This happened about 4 weeks ago. WWE just created a ton, like dozens and dozens of new shirts as they're moving to USA for all these NXT talents. Now they're saying that so this was made a while ago. He apparently approved the design. So when you get a T-shirt design, normally you're given the graphic. And I guess the one he got was against a gray background or gray shirt. So he had
with a white background.
With a white background. So he had approved the design on a white background. And then when it was released, it was in a black background. When they designed it, they probably were just designing the logo and not against the background. But anyway, once he saw it on the black background, he felt it was inappropriate, asked for it to be removed. And he's posted a screenshot of an email from WWE T-shirt designer Baker Landon, which includes his email address. And he said that Triple H Landon said that Triple H loved the logo for Myles' on-screen character, but he wanted the letters to be more teethy, since he has that smiling baby face gimmick. Myles later said that he contacted Triple H about it, and Triple H said that he didn't know, and he thought that he had approved the design. So anyway, for whatever reason, this past weekend, which is weeks later after it was pulled and this happened, Myles just started railing against the company. He said the whole WWE system is fraud. They created the system where you can't trust anyone. You grow cold and you grow apart from what you love the most. The fact that Hulk Hogan is still employed after giving the locker room an apology for being caught says enough. He tweeted on Jay Lethal. He said that ROH was racist as well, and said that Jay Lethal was an Uncle Tom. He deleted that tweet, but later said that everything he said he meant. And then he also... I'm sorry, what were you saying, Matt?
Jay Lethal?
Yeah, I think a lot of people were pissed off about that one. And yeah, there was one more thing. What was it?
I had a video today where he flipped off the camera,
Yes,
and I believe that WWE doesn't care about black people.
Yeah, and he deleted that video since. But yeah, so all right, just wanted to get everyone up to speed. Matt, go ahead.
Well, the context is completely kibosh now. Put it back in the context, Glenn, because...
Well, the context... Okay, so if you went along with this, you could speak to this. Like, going along with it, as a WWE talent, going along with a bad idea is something you have talked about multiple times on this podcast, and I imagine that still exists today, where wrestlers feel like they have to not make waves.
Definitely. When I was brought up, you were literally taught, like Rip Rogers was one of our trainers, and his thing was, when you get called up, you guys will be able to do anything they throw at you, and you will say, I'm overly prepared to do it, sir, no matter what it is they throw at us. Eugene being Nick Dinsmore being Eugene, me stuttering, whatever have you, that could be the farthest thing from who we should be playing, if you will. We can handle it all. There's nothing you can throw at me. So today I tweeted, back then I was so, I was a wide-eyed rookie, couldn't believe I was about to live out my childhood dream. This is amazing. I feel like I hit the jackpot, the lottery. And this is awesome. I'm in Mr. Man's office, and he's pitching a character he's thought about putting on somebody for years. And this is awesome. And when he tells me the stuttering character, it's like, but it then becomes, you know what, this is exactly what I was trying to do. You can throw anything at me, and I will do whatever I can to try to get it over, because that's the way I was brought up. And you're not in a position as a rookie to be like, well, Mr. McMahon, I'm not comfortable doing this. You're taught to say I'm comfortable doing anything you throw at it. And I said, I'd wear a freaking pink tutu and come out on a damn unicycle and juggling bowling pins if they told me to. At that time, if I had experience under my belt, I would have definitely been comfortable enough to say, no, this doesn't make any sense, and here's why. But this, nowadays, though, Glenn, the company is supposed to be a much different atmosphere, in which they are a lot more. Please stop typing, they're supposed to be a lot more cognizant of the different social injustices that go on out there, taking everything into account. I've seen them do in the past. You know what I mean? They seem a lot more cognizant, just in general, on what's happening in the world, for the most part, versus definitely back when I was there. I'm comparing the two different time periods is what I'm doing here. Are they always going to get it right? No. But I don't know. I think with this is a t-shirt we're talking. This wasn't a character he was being asked to portray. Where I get confused is stuff with Jay Lethal. I don't understand what that does. That definitely doesn't do anything. That the point I thought he was trying to make had a hell of a lot of balls behind it, and good on him for speaking his mind like that and representing. You know what I mean? I want people to do that, but you kind of, I don't know, you screwed a pooch a little bit on wanting to do that by bad mouthing another African American wrestler that busted his ass. Like never see, like I've met, like Jay Lethal is a main event talent. I don't care what anybody says. And then some. And he's not the only one. I don't understand what the point of putting him down is. There was no need to do that to deliver his same message that he wants to deliver. I went on and saw a promo by this kid. What's his real name? Go, whatever his Twitter handle is.
Go Myles. Yeah.
All right. So whatever his Myles kid. I saw a video of him doing his last indie show. All right, versus
when he was ACH.
When he was ACH versus what's his name? Shane Strickland.
Okay, yeah.
And it was a nasty match. It was awesome. And he cuts this world beater promo, in my opinion, afterwards, talking and bringing people together. And this was after he just had, my opinion, a 5-star match. I watched the match. It was really, really good. And his promo after, I tweeted, I was like, holy crap, this kid is, that promo he just cut is bigger than pro wrestling. It really, in my opinion, it was. And I was like, holy crap, this kid could be a game changer. He can, he's a change agent. The way he was talking, guys, I've seen politicians that could have cut that promo. It was from the heart. He meant every word of it. And I was like, wow. So when I see what you guys are telling me that he said about Jay Lethal, it doesn't jive with any of that. It's the opposite of togetherness and bringing people in together and representing, what he felt that he got hurt by. But end of the day, WWE, doesn't matter what you think. If somebody tells you they're offended by this, that's it. It's the end all be all. You freaking apologize and do whatever the hell it takes. I don't know what it is that you do, but how did they not see that?
And clearly they saw it by pulling it.
I'll be honest, I saw it right away. I didn't need to see the headline. I'm not gonna lie, I saw that.
And WWE released a statement Sunday night. I mean, this was 11 o'clock Eastern on a Sunday. When does the WWE do that? Because
this was bad.
Yeah.
Come on, let's be honest. You guys didn't see that? I saw it immediately. That was blackface and the characters from the minstrel shows that they would have back in the 30s and 40s. Immediately.
Yeah. Now here's my thing. A lot of people don't know about blackface, right? So I'm sure this was an accident. The design was an accident.
Purposely did this.
Yeah, exactly. But the fact that it made it to their online store,
did not one person is the question. If Wheels had one person not stop, go, well, wait a minute here. I don't think there's somebody.
Right. But it was a chaotic time. They're releasing a ton of shirts. It's maybe the person, Jordan Myles hasn't had a lot of TV time, so maybe they didn't know that, whatever it was. An accident was made. Yes. But WWE should have apologized. And it's not saying that you meant to do it on purpose, but just say a shirt was released that was racially insensitive. We apologize, and it was an accident, and you move on.
I don't. Yeah, I do not think they did this on purpose. What benefit does that serve?
Right.
Of course, they did not do this on purpose.
Yeah, but Vince McMahon is not getting ready to launch the XFL. He's like, wait a second. First, we need to create a racist shirt for a character I don't know in NXT.
No, but here's what it points to: that there needs to be more sensitivity involved in the people that make these decisions, and that I would think it's a conglomerate there. That today's day and age of NXT and wrestling in general for that company and T-shirts. Yes, they release T-shirts very quickly, but imagine there's got to be a stack of different people that thing has got to pass through, and not one person said, "Well, wait a minute here." That's the part that bothered.
And I think Tammy made a comment about this. It's the fact that it was approved shows that they lack diversity, and are there no black or persons of color making decisions?
I'm whiter than everybody's ass, and I caught it immediately.
But I did today have a glance at the WWE leadership page, and it is interesting that the top leadership is all white. I wonder who the highest-ranking African-American executive is in the company. I think more diverse voices behind the scenes will definitely help in terms of, I don't know. There's a great Forbes piece out there today. I linked to it on my
creative right now, by the
way. So the head of... the executive director on Smackdown is Bruce Pritchard, and Raw is Paul Heyman.
Somebody I saw say Rajan Singh.
Ranjan Singh is one of the top. Is he on Raw's right now? Yeah, I mean, he's Indian, but of Indian descent. But yeah,
I'll tell you, it's a lot more diverse than when I was there.
Sure,
that much right now, which isn't saying much. But
yeah.
When I was there.
I think it goes back to the Vince thing. So there's a great Forbes article by Alfred. How do you pronounce his last name, Josh?
Kanoa, yeah.
Kanoa, Alfred Kanoa. And he had a great point. I mean, this sort of speaks to a larger problem about African-American representation in the WWE. We've talked about it on this podcast. I don't think we need to retread all of it, but it does seem like if you are an African-American performer there, that for the powers that be, you are more likely to get on the air with characters that fall into stereotypical roles.
And I would also argue Japanese as well.
Yeah.
Here's the catch we need to remember about professional wrestling. Professional wrestling for years has been exactly that, though. It has been taking perceptions of people and playing to the lowest common denominator stereotype.
Yes.
For years. Cowboys, big white guy in a cowboy hat coming out as a gunslinger. Billy Gunn, for instance. He could have been a lot. Do you know what I'm saying? And then Indians playing Indian characters, going around. Wavell Star, I'll never forget when we were in WWE Developmental. That was his shtick. That was his character because that was his. It just there's so many things like that.
And I mean, Bobby Lashley, story on Wrestling Inc. Bobby Lashley says he's gotten death threats over this angle with Alana. Vince McMahon knows that this pushes some buttons. I said this off the air the night they debuted.
Do you really believe that?
Yes, I absolutely do.
I'm sure people get death threats over. I hate to say it, but there's a segment of the audience that really gets into this stuff, and I'm sure like Stephanie McMahon gets a lot of death threats when she, does something dastardly on TV. I mean, we get emails where like Stephanie McMahon needs to be fired for how she treated Becky Lynch on Raw tonight.
Off his point, Glenn, get to your thing. I'm sorry.
So, but to Matt, to your point about this, you don't think Vince knows and Bruce and someone's not backstage rubbing their hands going, oh man, this is going to get some heat. Bobby out there, he's massaging Lana. They're doing this big open mouth kiss. They know that pushes a button with some people. Like Matt said, it's not cheating. It's lowest common denominator. I
don't know about that. Then that's racist, saying Bobby Lashley can't be in that role because he's African American.
It plays into.
He's saying once he heard that there was a death threat, right, Glenn? Yeah. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm saying that
just happened. He just said that.
It still provokes outrage. It's a purposeful thing. It's like Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal is Canadian, coming out there doing an Indian gimmick, but they put him in a turban denouncing America, and he's getting heat like he was the 13th hijacker. Like they know that this pushes buttons with a certain segment of their audience. They know this.
They know that. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I don't feel like a performer should not be put into a certain angle because of their race, honestly, And
I hate when they do take that today's day and age. I think the fans reject it for the most part. Jinder's ironically won. They didn't. They loved booing him. He's the good heel. But for the most part, I think they're like, come on.
Yeah, it was better with Jinder when they made it about India explicitly and had him talking about going there in the modern day Maharaja. And when they did that and had him play up the Indian angle of it, I was like, this is actually surprisingly nuanced given how the idea of a brown man.
We're past that. Like it's 2019. Like they don't have these different people don't have to be stuck in these super dated stereotypes.
I agree, but we get it a lot. And here's the other thing I'm going to say. I think with the Lashley stuff coinciding, even the R-Truth stuff, and I know R-Truth has always played his character somewhere on the scale between like ignorance and just outright not having a clue. But when we had Kofi as the champion, as the first top-level African-American champion going out there talking about...
People always forget about Book. What about Booker?
I thought that was probably the worst angle that WWE did when it comes to
it.
And then he lost.
She was King Booker.
Yes.
Oh, I meant when the angle with Triple H, where Triple H was saying racist stuff.
Everyone keeps saying about the African American champions. Book. People keep forgetting Book.
Agreed. But what I'm saying is, if you have a spectrum of representation and you have Kofi out there at the very top talking about what this means, because people that look like me typically don't win championships, and they're doing things, you know what? If on the other end of the spectrum you want to have R-Truth out there doing straight comedy, that's one thing. But when you look at it, and this is what the Forbes article points out, is when you look at it now, okay, so Kofi get squashed by Brock Lesnar, doesn't get to go out like a champ. And we can debate about the booking of that. But when you have that and you have Bobby playing off one stereotype, you have Truth out there. Look at the segment's Truth.
Really quick. I'm missing the Bobby thing. What are they saying?
Okay, so Tammy, you've mentioned in the chat, there is a stereotype about black men, quote unquote, stealing white women. I hate to give the source material points, but I guarantee you Vince McMahon grew up at a time when the film Mandingo was released. And I guarantee you somewhere in his head, he thinks of that because that is a thing that gets heat. That is a controversial stereotype. You've got R-Truth. I said this before. I said Vince McMahon must have loved Eddie Murphy as buckwheat, because you see when R-Truth does some of those segments, like the one he did with Mayor Glenn Jacobs, for me, that was a cringe fest. It's one thing if he confuses some words and says a couple funny things, but when they play him like he's barely functional, I'm sorry. I do find that so over the top, it's offensive. The Street Profits, love him or hate him. I mean, it's talking about that even with New Day, people have had criticism. I'm saying having a balanced representation helps. And when you're just seeing things that people think are negative stereotypes, I think there's a point that they might have some issues.
The ones you just named, the African Americans that are largely being put in roles that are very entertaining, right? The entertainment first, wrestling second. You said it first. New Day,
like the smiling, happy, yeah.
Street Profits, R-Truth, okay. But then I would argue, what about Cedric Alexander
or Mark Henry?
When's the last time Mark Henry had a match?
Today.
Well, he's retired now.
Yes.
Today's wrestlers. Cedric Alexander's not doing that. I mean, I think they can do better. Of course they can.
But it goes back to the point. I think that it's easier to get on TV if you're in one of these stereotypical roles. I think that sells because the powers that be, and this is what I'm saying with it. And Raj, we talked about this off the air. I don't think it's overt racism. I don't think Vince McMahon is like, well, I think of black people this way. No. I think what it is that he came up with a certain era of entertainment, and when he sees things that remind him of that era of entertainment, that's what he thinks is funny or entertaining, so he's more likely to put that on. But I'll give you an example of this. I was watching an old episode of In Living Color a couple weeks ago. Saw Damon Wayans come on and do the character of Handyman. Yeah. Now, I remember when I was like 13 and 14.
Dude.
That was the shit.
Never, ever fly today.
Never would fight it. But today you look at that in a different light than you would have when it first came out. And now no one would put anything like that on the air. Actually, most of In Living Color, no one will put anything like that on the air.
No, what about Jim Carrey's portrayal?
Yeah, Men on Film. Yeah, Jim Carrey is the female bodybuilder. A lot of that stuff hasn't aged well. Even Eddie Murphy, who's having a renaissance right now with My Name is Dolomite. Go back and watch parts of Delirious and Raw.
Like the first line in Raw is it's
So what I'm saying is, I do not think Vince's tastes have evolved with the rest of culture and society, and that is why we see these glaring things where stuff makes it on the air and gets through, and some people say this is a little outdated.
And that's as far as booking goes. But back to this, we need to button this up. I know we're going over here, but back to the T-shirt. I don't think they did this on purpose.
No, I don't think so. But
good on him for really he believes in this. He's a young talent. Like I just told you earlier, what it's like to be a young talent and wide-eyed. You would do anything they tell you to do because you want it that bad. Mm-hmm. You're trained that way. When you get this opportunity to treat it like that Wonka golden ticket, and you'll do anything they tell you to do. And here he is in NXT. He's a rookie. He's super talented. Sky's the limit for that dude's potential, for his future. He's freaking awesome. He's so good, and he's such a good promo. Oh my God, he's a good promo. All right, and he's standing up for this much. So there's something to that, guys. That's how much he believes in this. And why would he want to throw his career away? Essentially, is what I just shared with you earlier. When you're a rookie, you do whatever the hell you're told. And he's willing to fight it like this. Obviously, it bothers him. Obviously, he'll be offended by it. Obviously, he should be. And he should feel the way he feels. Who are we to tell somebody they can't feel a certain way? Do you know what I mean? I mean, it is, and people want to leave comments about it. It's like I get both sides of it when I see the comments, but by the same token, like this is someone who's not made his mark yet. His best days were still to come in front of him, and for him to step up for this now, it's a major deal for him. It's a major deal to him.
I agree.
And I don't think it's any of that. I think it's absolutely authentic and legitimate. His passion behind it.
Yeah. And I know some people bring up, WWE. I mean, this could be a 2-hour long conversation with the problems they've had, especially with top African American stars. WrestleMania 19 is a perfect example. If you go watch those angles, that should have been a Booker T win. I mean,
Absolutely.
Triple H said people like you don't win world titles, and then he ends up beating them.
Then, do you remember how uncomfortable it was then? It wasn't good then. It was like, really? You guys, it's 20, whatever year it was.
WrestleMania 19. It was brutal. So Jordan Myles, it'll be interesting to see what happens. WWE, I don't think they can fire him.
They can't.
But do they use him now?
Listen to me. Anybody wants to see this kid, don't judge him by this. Go look at this dude on YouTube, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This dude can talk.
Yeah, he's ultra talented
and passionate as hell.
Yeah.
Promo I saw, I'm telling you, I'm not bullshit. I'm not exaggerating. I've seen, again, politicians that could not cut that promo he talked about at the indie show I saw. That was all heart. And it was after like a 5-star match where I'd be gassed to the gills. I'd be, everybody here should be impressed because, you know what I mean? I'd be so gassed. And this kid going, wow.
Yeah.
He's got something.
I agree.
And clearly there's something to it, to what he was saying too, because Cedric Alexander also was retweeting all of Jordan Myles' tweets. We've seen how Cedric's been treated. I know people, when it happened with AJ, and they're like, "Oh, he's not losing his push, man. You're jumping way too early." I'm like, dude, he's being pushed down the ladder.
Yeah. Yes. That's right. That's right, Raj. That is what happened.
I also feel like we didn't get a lot of resolution even about the Hogan thing. People just stopped talking about it and asking people about it. So I think that this incident tapped into a current that's been simmering for a while. This is just the latest chapter.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll see. So I don't know. We're not going to be able to solve all of these problems here, but I think it's important to have a dialogue with it. And this is a polarizing issue. I mean, I have people tweeting at me, every time this comes up, people are like, "Oh, race, this isn't a thing." People are looking for something to complain about. It's like, well, look, you can't fault people for how they feel.
But one more time, I do think that we didn't do this on purpose. I didn't.
For sure.
But they should have enough staff there available that should have caught this.
Again. They should have apologized for it once it was out. Obviously, again, no way Vince McMahon ever saw the shirt, and I bet you he didn't know who Jordan Myles was until this weekend.
And for Jordan's future, I mean, look, 6 months ago on this podcast, we were saying Lio Rush was never going to be seen on WWE TV again after he was talking about perception.
I never said that. You all said that. You and
Justin LaBar said that.
I never said that either.
That kid is a freaking stud.
Wrestling Inc.'s own Justin LaBar repeatedly said.
5-star stud.
But the point is that issues like this do not define people's careers. I think it's good that he spoke out. I think it's good that he speaks his mind.
Great as hell.
I do not think we've seen the last of him on WWE TV, and it would be stupid to retaliate against him as a result of this.
Well, does he want to go back? We got to see that too.
That's a good point.
I mean, he's been tweeting all day, just lashing out at the state of wrestling and the company. I mean, I'm sure after a while things cool off, and maybe he will, but we'll just have to see.
He's not some nobody either that needed this attention. So for the haters out there that want to point it toward that, because I'm seeing some messages now, like that he's doing it for the attention. This kid is a bona fide stud. He was going to be called up. There's no question about it in my mind. He would have been freaking good. And maybe it still will happen. I hope it does. But he didn't need this.
Okay? Yeah, he's only 31. He's been wrestling in New Japan, ROH.
Really good. Yeah. He's not just okay. He's really good. And he could talk for days. He's money on the mic. And he did not need this. So for those that want to say, "Oh, he's in what's the word? Obscurity." This is what you. No, this is not what he was doing. He's not just minding his business. I go, I'm going to take advantage of this dude. No, this is a dude who was incredibly hurt by this.
And I think it's commendable because Matt, like you've said, it's like, man, backstage, I'm sure you got to suck it up more often than not.
Yeah, you're scared to step. I walked on eggshells there. Are you kidding me? Hell yes. So. For a rookie, the NXT guy be talking like, man.
Yeah.
So there you have it. We're going to be back here Wednesday night to talk about NXT and AEW. He's BP Matt Morgan on Twitter and Instagram. He's Raj Giri _303. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein. Follow me on Twitter. I linked to that Forbes article. I highly recommend it. I think that's the definitive writing on this issue. I've got it linked on my Twitter. And we'll get you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.
Listen, Send it to me. I didn't see it.